Now we're doing the review for 9.4, and we've got to find an equation for the hyperbola and graph the equation that has a center at 0, 0, a focus at 0 point and -6, and a vertex at 0 and 4. So that means that A in this case equals 4, C equals 6. And so we know the opposite of 4 is -4, so 0, -4. And the opposite of -6 is 6, so 0, 6. There's a focus and a focus. There's a vertex and a vertex here. And now we have to find B, so B squared equals C squared, which is 6, and if you square 6 you get 36, minus A squared, which is 4, and if you square 4 you get 16. So B squared equals 20. So B, the solutions to this are plus or minus 20, but B is, I beg your pardon, not 20. Whoa! Square root of 20, which is 2 root 5. So B is 2 root 5. The solutions to B squared equals 20, or plus or minus 2 root 5. So now, by the way, 2 root 5 is a little bit larger than 4. So it's gonna, we'll just make it 2 root 5. Let's see. 2 root 5 and 0 and -2 root 5 and 0. Now there's a way to graph that's pretty handy. What we do, the asymptotes for this graph are formed by the lines y equals plus or minus b over, or a over b x. So look, we're just going to draw a box. Here we're going to draw lines through our two x coordinates and through the vertex coordinates for our vertical coordinates. Let's see, we want a 4, yeah. Okay, and so now we're talking about a over y equals a over bx. So that is 4 over, in the denominator we're going to have, we're talking y equals plus or minus, a is 4, and b is 2 root 5. And if we connect these, if we draw through the vertices of this rectangle, and then our graph will be these. We've drawn the asymptotes that of our graph. And by the way, that shouldn't be, I'm wrong there. I've got to be going through 0.4. There we go, 0.4. And 0. There we go. Okay, and there's our graph. And by the way, the equation is y squared over a squared, which is going to be 16 minus x squared over 20, b squared, which is 20, equals 1. And we're done. Okay, now we're doing section 9.4 and the review. And it says find an equation for the hyperbola and graph the equation that has a center at 0, 0, focus at 0, -6, and a vertex at 0, 4. Well, if there's a vertex at 0, 4, then there's a vertex at 0, negative 4. And if there's a focus at 0, negative 6, there's a focus at 0, 6. And we know that A equals 4 in this case, and C equals 6. So solving for B, we know B squared equals 36, 6 squared minus A squared, which is 4, and that's 16. So B squared equals 20. So B, the solution to this is plus or minus root 20, which is 2 root 5. But B equals 2 root 5. 2 root 5 is a little greater than 4, so here we are at 2 root 5, 0. And here we are at negative 2 root 5, 0. And also the asymptote for, or the asymptotes for this hyperbola are at plus or minus A over B. Now look, what we can do is draw, this is a handy way to draw those asymptotes. You draw a vertical through our values for B, and horizontals through the values for the vertex. And so the coordinates of this point right here, well, it's going to be 2 root 5, 5, and 4. So we went 2 root 5 over, which is B, and 4 up. So the bottom line is, you don't have to label that. If you draw dotted lines through these, through the origin and these corners, then you've drawn the diagonal asymptotes, you see? So constructing that box is very handy for finding the asymptotes. Now our vertex is at 0, 4, and it's going to curve and just approach that asymptote. This one's going to do the same thing. This one's going to do the same thing. And we've got it going over here. So now we've drawn our hyperbola. We need to come up with the equation of this hyperbola. And so it's going to be y squared, since our major axis is, since it's symmetric about the y-axis, we've got y squared over 4 squared is 16 minus x squared over 6 squared is, I beg your pardon, 2 root 5 squared is 20, and that equals 1. So now we've got the equation, we've got the graph, we've done it.